we're all capable of doing a whole heck of a lot more than we think we're capable of. It's the self-limiting beliefs and it's the self-doubt that keeps us squashed. It keeps us on that comfy couch. We just got to look inside of who we are and go, you know what? I challenged myself. I challenge you all. We can become better.
I am so excited about this episode because we are joined by my friend Larry Levine, author of Selling from the Heart, a podcast with the same name. He also wrote Selling in a Post-Trust World. Larry believes that more trust equals more sales. Through his business working with CEOs and leaders across a wide variety of industries, he's built a movement of sales professionals who are passionate about being genuine and authentic and about doing the hard work. Larry, I am so excited about this conversation.
Same here. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I am so glad we've gotten to get to know each other, Kate.
Yes, it's so fun. So you and I actually got to be a guest on Larry's podcast, Culture from the Heart. Well, you have Selling from the Heart, you have Culture from the Heart.
It's going to stop there for a little bit, Kate.
For now, just two podcasts. But we had a great conversation about culture. And then I read your book, Selling from the Heart, which is such a great book. And after being on your show, we obviously have become friends. And now I just adore the work that you're doing. We're obviously very much in alignment of what we're doing in the world and really just helping businesses, helping leaders, you doing that specifically with sales. And I just love the topic of sales because we're all selling. We're all selling ourselves, businesses, and growing. And this is what you get to do for a living. So why don't you just share a little bit about your background, because you have a very fascinating background, and what inspired you to start the book, start the business, Selling from the Heart, and why is it so important for you to teach people how to sell from the heart?
I just got to play on what you just said about sales. Everybody is in sales. Sales is about influence. And every day we're having influential conversations, both in our personal life and in our professional life. So we just have to remove the stigma of sales, which that's what I'm all about. But just a quick backstory is I spent my whole entire career. So I live in Southern California, just north of Los Angeles. And I spent my whole entire career selling copiers. That's the sales channel I came out of, office technology.
So glamorous.
Oh, it is like the most sexiest industry out there, Kate, let me tell you, selling things that require massive amounts of service. But I got into sales because I wanted to. I wasn't forced into it or anything like that. I chose the career. I wanted to get into sales. I'm a highly relational guy, grew up that way, love having conversations with people. I go, what better thing to do than to get into sales? And I soon learned that if I was going to carve this niche in sales, I had to do it completely different than anybody else. And I will tell you this, I struggled with it for like the first 6 to 7 to 8 months of my sales career. Back in the late 80s, I tried to emulate some of the top salespeople that were in my company. And I soon realized I was trying to be like them. I wasn't trying to be like me. And so I flipped the script on all of this. Yeah, I got to know products and I got to know the company lingo and things like that. But what I did is I brought to the forefront how I was raised. I was raised by a highly relational mom and a rocket scientist for a father, literally. And so what I did is I just smashed both those together. I go, I'm going to bring a plan, a process. I'm going to practice like none other that was drilled into me by my father. And I'm going to bring the highly relational side of things, which was ingrained by my mom. And I go, I'm just going to smash those all together and just do me, just do it this way. And I parlayed that into a very successful career. And then at 50 years old, I had some life-altering moments and I found myself going, well, what am I going to do with myself at 50? I made one phone call, and that phone call was to somebody you know, Kate, and that was to Daryl Amy. And all I wanted to do was tap Daryl's network. Hey, Daryl, who do you know who knows somebody who might be looking for, insert what I was looking for. And after a 2.5-hour conversation, Katie goes, you know something? You don't need to go back into sales. What you need to do is coach and train people on how you built a very successful business based on relational selling, bringing authenticity to the forefront, And I had never publicly spoken, never written a book, never wrote an article, I didn't even know what podcasting was. But I go, okay, I'll try it. But he saw something in me I didn't see. And this is the kind of how this whole story takes shape is there's people out there that will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And that's what Daryl did. And he goes, you know something, what else you got to lose? And I go, you're right. What else do I got to lose? And I dove into it head first. I dove into the entrepreneurial ocean with 50-pound weights on. And I didn't have this big Brinks truck in my backyard funding a lifestyle or anything like that. I had to get to work immediately at 50 years old. So just to age stamp this, I'm 60. So that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And in the span of 10 years, we started the Selling from the Heart podcast 9 years ago, which basically kickstarted this whole business that born 2 books, that born a second podcast, that born this movement we call Selling from the Heart, where we're just bringing authenticity, trust, sincerity, high character, high integrity to the forefront. And we're coaching sales teams on how to build your people skills and relationship building skills to turn revenue and profit at ginormous rates. That's the Reader's Digest version, Kate.
Okay, first of all, so inspiring. It really is, because I feel like there's probably someone listening that is maybe in their late 40s, early 50s, and to them, it might be this, I don't know what's next, like whether it was a layoff or whether they're in this phase of life where they're just thinking, I want something new. It's so funny because I've been having more and more conversations with people around in midlife that kind of feel like it's too late. I've missed my chance. Who am I to start something new? And it's so important that you had a Daryl. We all need a Daryl in our life, right? Somebody that does see so much more in us than we might see in ourselves. And the fact that you say that when you were 50, like for you to have that experience at 50, because I think a lot of us have that experience when we're younger, but maybe not when we're older, for somebody to say, no, we got to get you going on your own business and doing your own thing and writing these books. So what advice would you give to someone who's feeling like, oh, well, that's great, Larry, it worked for you, but like I feel hopeless or I don't really know if I can really do that?
You know what's interesting is this is the first thing that I would share with somebody, and it's all the stories and the self-limiting beliefs that we conjure up in our mind. I've always said the stories in our head become the stories of our lives. And there's so many people out there. I mean, the whole backstory to what happened at 50 was, I was career adjusted at 50. And that was a humbling freaking experience to be career adjusted at 50. It was a lot of crying, a lot of self-doubt. What am I going to do with myself? Woe is me, and so forth. I just leaned on to somebody. So I would just share with somebody. Everyone's got that close friend. They have somebody they can confide into. Just be vulnerable and just let it go. You can't solve life by yourself. I learned that a long time ago. I really did. And now more than ever at 60, I'm having the time of my life at 60 years old. I go, I wish I would have done this at 40, but I had all the stories floating around, right? I had a family to raise. I had kids to raise and things like that. And I needed the comfortability of having a W-2 check and things like that. I had that. That was comfort to me. At 50, it was a whole different story. So the people that are in that mid part of their career, you could still find things that light your fire. In fact, you talk about it in your book, right? That's what Dream Manager is about. All of that is we all have these dreams and these aspirations and these goals we want to accomplish, but it's all the self-limiting beliefs that's holding us back from doing this. I mean, I can't do this. I'm 55 years old, right? Who's going to hire me at 50? Well, maybe not. Go out and start something. Think about all these businesses that were started in corporate America by men and women in their 50s that are household, well-known corporate names, right? The first one I think about is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yep. He was 60, right? Isn't that when?
Pretty darn close to it.
And you know what? It's so funny that you're saying this because I was just looking up a bunch of people that had done things much later in life. I think he was one of them, but I know Vera Wang got started later in life too. I think she was like in her 40s when she started in her design career. The thing that I appreciate is we're creating this entire body of work. Like, I think about body of work as everything that you've done. It's a collection of everything, all the jobs you've had, all the experiences that you had. And you get to take that just like you did. You took all of these years of experience in sales, learning from some of the best salespeople, then taking those best practices and then deciding, hey, I'm going to do this on my own and create your own way of doing it, becoming very successful at it. And now your next step was to have a business. So who's to say you would have had as much fun doing it and building it if in your 40s? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. And so all we can do is exactly where we are today, take all of those things that we've done and then move forward. I love that you said it's like such the headspace thing. You know, Matthew Kelly calls it head trash. Like, we have to get our head trash out of there in order for us to be able to move forward.
You know what's interesting about all of this is, I'm going to make this sales centric for just a moment. But this Kate plays out just about anywhere in any career and all that, is we always have this mindset and heart set for certain things. And in the sales world, I think about this as somebody's will to sell. And then I think about their sales DNA, right? All the self-limiting, all the head trash that floats around. Zig Ziglar a long time ago called it stinking thinking. And we all have it. And what's interesting is, as executives and as sales leaders, we so often want to coach and train to skill set. How can we help somebody tactically become better? But yet, if we don't change their mind and if we don't change their heart, everything still remains the same. And that's interesting in business and in life. So I'd encourage everybody out there, what are you doing to work on your mind and what are you doing to work on our heart? And we just don't do that enough. But yet, if I ask any business owner, if I ask any executive to peer inside their business and answer this question, are you in the people business and relationship building business? Everyone always says yes. Then my next comeback is, what are you doing to build the people skills and relationship building skills of your people so they can turn that into increased revenue and profit? It starts with mindset work and heart set work.
So why do you think, and you talk about this in your book, that you talk about if you're not willing to invest in yourself, something around like you talk about investing in yourself and the importance of investing in yourself and other people, and then you being able to invest in other people. Why do you think some leaders are more hesitant to have programs that are really there to develop their people, specifically around sales? I mean, we need sales in order to run a business. That is one area of focus. We should be helping our people.
It's the age-old saying, and this is going to play out, and I think there's massive amounts of truth to it. And it's just a cliche that's out there. You can find it out there on social, and all you got to do is Google it. Well, if I invest in my people, what happens if I invest in my people and they go somewhere else? I'm setting that up because I think, I can't say that's all, but I think it's ingrained in the back of people's heads. Man, if I invest in Kate and insert names of all the people that are on my team, if I invest in Kate and I pour into Kate and then she winds up 6 months later leaving, then what? So I'm not saying that happens all the time, but people, it's that age-old saying. Well, guess what? If the more you pour into people, I really believe this, the more you pour into people, the more they'll pour into your customers. The more you don't pour into your people, the more they won't pour into your customers. Somewhere around down the road, I think it goes a couple even layers deeper. I think it's lack of trust more than anything else. Is if I invest in my people, I trust that they will invest in themselves and they will invest in our customers.
And this goes back to the hiring process, like hiring people that are growth minded, because the best team members are the ones that they want to grow. They want to get better. So when people say, well, what if my people leave? Well, if you have A players on your team, they're going to leave if you don't invest in them. we have to give them an environment in which to thrive, in which to grow, so that they want to stay, so that they get excited about the mission. And of course, some people do have dreams. We get that question a lot too, right? Because they're like, what if one of my team members' dreams is to leave the company? Great. At least now you're going to have a plan. If you know that they're going to leave, they can help you create that plan, and you get to support them in that dream. So when they're off and doing their thing, they're going to remember this company, Selling from the Heart. Larry, like, not only supported me leaving, but we had a year plan, and then he supported me going. And now he talks so well about you and the company so that other people would want to come to work with you.
You know what's interesting? I just have to bring professional sports into this conversation, if you allow me to, is because I was sitting there listening to what you're saying, especially like on the hiring end of this. So I live just north of Los Angeles. I'm going to bring Los Angeles Rams into this just to put some thoughts and things around this. But this is culture driven. This is hiring driven. This is heart driven. The Los Angeles Rams were just a complete, utter mess like 8 or 9 years ago. Just a mess. They had just moved back from St. Louis, right? Because they were originally in LA. Then they went to St. Louis. They came back to LA. When they came back to LA, complete mess. The owner knew they were a complete mess. Basically cleaned house of all the leadership upstairs inside the Los Angeles Rams. And that's when they hired Sean McVay, who's the head coach, the young whiz kid and so forth. But what happened since is they figured out how to bring in high character, high integrity players who align to the values at a leadership level. And they bring those type of players in, the A players, high character, fueled with integrity. The reason why I bring this up is imagine if CEOs and executives brought in high quality talent based on character, integrity that matched their values instead of just hiring warm bodies. Just think about all the revenue increases and profit increases you'd have if you paid really close attention to the front end of your hiring process.
Yes. And the reason why I think so many people don't is because that takes discipline and practice, and you have to have a good process in place. And a lot of businesses don't have a good hiring process, and you have to hire for not only talent, but also, are they a good cultural fit? We've all experienced someone, especially in sales, because yes. I know there's a lot of people that have come to us saying, I can't get rid of this person. They are the rainmaker. They are my top sales guy. They bring in so much revenue, and yet everyone hates them. They're not a great cultural fit, but they don't want to get rid of them because of the performance in sales. So let's talk a little bit about sales teams, because what does that dynamic look like?
I'm so glad we're going to have this conversation, because I got to play on what you just said. On the front end, at Selling from the Heart, the front end of what we do is driven by sales indexing, sales teams. We figured if we're going to bring on the right types of clients, we want to help CEOs lift up the hood of their sales team to uncover what makes their people tick and what are they capable of. And the reason why I bring this up is exactly what you just said. As we start leveraging data and analytics on sales teams, we're looking at the whole entire team, from the top salesperson all the way down, from mid-level managers all the way even to VPs of sales. I remember this is about 3 months ago. We ran data and analytics on a company, and their sales teams has about 31, 32 salespeople, mid-level managers, and a VP of sales. Their top salesperson does a ginormous amount of sales, well past 7, it's into 8 figures on an annual basis. Top salesperson comes back. This person is not coachable. Tactically, they're weak, high relational seller. Point behind all of this, they don't even want to look at this person because they're bringing in the most revenue, but yet this person's not coachable. So you're not gonna squeeze any more lemon out of this person, right? It's not going to happen. Probably cancerous, high ego, but yet as a leader, you just don't want to rock the boat with this person, because what happens if they go elsewhere? My take, let that person go elsewhere. Find 3 or 4 other people that would run circles around this person. I know there's some leaders going, Larry, you're a box of rocks. I can't buy into any of this.
I'm envisioning somebody listening going, okay, Larry, that sounds great, but where are they? Like, where are these people?
But Kate, this is why as executives, you got to constantly be building your bench of finding talented people. I'm here to tell you this, whether that be baseball, football, basketball, hockey, the minute a player gets injured, the general manager isn't out there trying to recruit somebody to fill the spot. They already got a bench. They have a farm team. They're developing players. In business, why can't we as executives do that every single day? If your salespeople have to prospect for business on a continual basis, then you as leaders and mid-level managers got to constantly be looking for talent every single day and be building your bench. The reason why most sales leaders don't want to get rid of the cancers in their company, they have no one to fill it. So they allow it to happen. It's excuses, Kate, it's excuses.
And we don't like excuses. Because what do you say? I even have a little note in your book. Excuses are a way of saying this isn't important to me. I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that. And it's true. We could talk about hiring all day. That obviously it's a big passion of ours here at Floyd too, just like working with leaders to help them with their hiring process. But let's talk a little bit, dig into sales, because it's like one of these things where I think every company can get better at the sales process, like any process, right? The hiring process, the sales process, there's lots of ways that we can strengthen. So when you are going into a team, you're not only assessing the team, you're looking at the processes, systems, like how they're selling, the just different things that you can help support them in fixing to increase conversion, I don't know if you help them with leads, but just increasing, obviously, sales. So what are some of the mistakes that you see people make, like right off the bat, that somebody can go back into their company today and see how they might be able to improve those things?
Oh, great stuff. I'm going to break down, if you allow me to, I'm going to break down my second book, and it's going to answer your question, is because I see this, and it's why I took Selling from the Heart as the foundation and created Selling in a Post-Trust World. It's around 4 pillars. And when I walk into a company, I see it right away. It's salespeople straight across the board are struggling to build authentic, genuine relationships. And they're struggling to build meaningful business value. And they're struggling to bring in an experience that's inspirational to their clients. And they're struggling with discipline habits. And what's really interesting, this has nothing to do with tactical stuff like prospecting and winning business and all that. It all has to do with how are you all showing up? And it goes back to a little bit ago in our conversation, we were talking about that I ask executives, are you in the people and relationship building business? And then just really zero in on your sales team. Are they doing the same thing? And they all say yes. But yet, we as leaders aren't coaching and training our salespeople into how to build their people skills and relationship building skills. So when I walk into companies, that's exactly what I zero in on. Our people skills and relationship building skills. We could kind of zero in and say these are soft skills, but soft skills yield hard dollars. And these are the things that I coach and train to and inspire leaders to go, you know what, we can become better around how we build genuine, authentic, congruent relationships with our clients. Like before we started recording this, we were talking about how many sellers and executives really know the goals, initiatives, challenges, dreams, aspirations, visions of their clients. And it's sad and it concerns me, not many do. And if they say they do, they may know one aspect of all of this. There's no really relational alignment between salespeople and their customers. In other words, companies and their salespeople think the relationship is this. Their clients think the relationship is something completely different. So when I walk in, I want there to be congruency, so we coach to it. And then we coach to how to bring meaningful value. And this is where a lot of salespeople struggle. And this is where I'm going to look leaders in the eyes and said, if your salespeople became better at having business conversations, watch what starts to happen. But because there's so much lack of trust and there's so much skepticism out there, that salespeople fall into this trap of, I want Kate to like me and I want Kate to be my friend. And if she likes me and if she thinks I'm friendly, she'll buy from me, which I think is the complete opposite. I want Kate to think I'm trustworthy and credible, and then Kate will buy stuff from me. So we work on how to build these authentic relationships and bring meaningful business value. And then we just wrap it around how to inspire these people through an experience like none other to see and achieve things they don't think they can do on their own. And then you just got to be disciplined with it. And it's just tough because as adults, some of the hardest things we can do is be disciplined. Discipline requires tough stuff. The most, I'll just say non-disciplined people, they just find excuses. So these are the areas that I work on. These are the areas that I see massively impacts revenue and profit, employee retention and client retention. This is how y'all build trust. And trust drives increased revenue and profit.
So it sounds like if those are like some of the key things that you're supporting people on, it sounds more like that, or maybe that's just the starting point and less of, because what I would think the answer would be is we've got to look at their process. We have to look at what are they like, their sales scripts, and what are they saying, and what is the process like after you get on your initial call and then the second call. And so like, how do you put those ideas that you just shared, which are beautiful and creating those authentic relationships, but how do you put that into practice?
Obviously, a lot of it's through coaching, but a lot of it's just observation. So, and we were talking prior to, recording this, is when I bring a new client on or even before it happens, I spend almost an entire week at a company and I'll do field write-outs and I'm sitting in meetings and I'm observing and I'm watching for one simple reason. I want to see what's going on so then I can use this experience to say, hey, by the way, when I was in this meeting, this is what I was observing this person saying. So that when we do decide that we're the right fit, these are some of the things that we're going to change. We're going to change how they open their first meeting with an executive. We're going to change the questions they start asking because this is what I'm observing. Rather than just after the fact, I'm doing it before the fact. I just want to see it. I want to see it with my own eyes, and I want to see it. I want to listen to it because then I can say, this is how we change it. I've been in cars with salespeople. I've been in meetings with your salespeople. These are the things that they're actually saying. These are the things that we could change.
One of the things that we were talking about before we hit record was LinkedIn. As far as social platforms, it is the one it's still more of that professional. A lot of professionals are on there. A lot more CEOs and executives are on there probably than on other platforms. And for someone like you who is very, you want to build relationships. I'm the same way, right? Like I always think I would love to meet more people on LinkedIn that want to reach out to me. And if we have things in common around wanting to grow your business and support your team members, and what does that look like, and create a great culture, all of those things. I mean, those are the kinds of people that we work with. And I would love to meet more people, but I just feel like when you talk about trust being so important, one of the things that's so challenging is I feel like there's so many salespeople, or there's so many just leaders out there that are mass emailing anyone and everyone. And it's just like, to your point from the beginning when you said like we need to like not be so like make sales so sleazy, like people still kind of think about it as like the car salesman, like this sleazy car salesman. Like that feels so inauthentic. It's annoying is what it is. You get these messages of people that are already just automatically, it's like 5 paragraphs. This is who I am and this is what we do. And do you want to jump on a quick call so I can teach you how to do it? And it's like, no.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. And I'm a massive believer in, we can use these platforms, insert name of whatever social platform. We can use these however we see fit, right? And it used to just grate on me how people use this. Now I kind of laugh because I just pay attention to how I show up. That's what I can control. And so often I was getting sucked into, these are how all these other people are showing up. Why can't I be like these people and act like these people? Well, guess what? It may or may not work for them. Who knows? But if this is LinkedIn specific, just for a moment, it's a big charade. I mean, everyone's got their best dress and their best suit on and all of that. And the light's always shining on them. I'm a massive believer in the 3 E's. I want to show up to educate. I want to show up to engage. And I want to show up to excite somebody into a conversation. Say, I want to know more. And if they want to know more, all they got to do is do a couple clicks and they can find out more. Let's just face it.
It's what I love about these platforms too, is that you do get to connect with people that you would never find otherwise and connect with them in a way to learn about their thought process around, I follow some people that are like sharing a lot about AI, and I'm like, this is so great. You're doing all the research and then sharing with us like what you're discovering, what you're finding. So it's like they become someone that I trust in that particular industry. And so when you become that person, like with you, like selling from the heart, it's like you're sharing with your podcast. What you're doing is you're sharing, you're helping to highlight other people that are putting in the work, that are creating great cultures, and then working through sales, highlighting them. And then other people get to know, oh, and by the way, Larry, this is what he does. And let's find out a little bit more.
No, 100%. Hey, I just want to let everyone know, Kate and I connected because of social platforms like LinkedIn, where Kate became aware of selling from the heart. I mean, you remember the whole story, right? And then Michelle reaches out and so forth. But I want to let people know is you never know who's following you, who's paying attention to you. And what was really interesting is I got to know Kate. It's how many people Kate already knew that we knew.
Yes.
Right? And so when you start following like-minded, like-hearted people, you'll be amazed how small this community really is.
Yeah. And then you get to connect great people. So you've been connected me with some really great people that I've had wonderful conversations with.
That's so good.
All right. So if someone's listening, they're like, okay, what are like 3 things that I should look at with my sales teams? Or if they're a smaller team, maybe them or one other person on their team, how do they assess their sales process today, and how do they start to move forward to create these better authentic relationships?
I would say a couple things is if I'm an executive or I'm a leader listening to this, and then answering your question, first thing I would sit down and ask myself is, do I really understand what makes my team tick? Do I truly know what they're capable of above and beyond what they're currently doing? If both those answers is, I don't know, then obviously we have solutions around that. Set that aside is if I'm an executive and I'm looking into this and then answering your question in another way, Kate, I'm saying to myself, what types of questions, when my salespeople are sitting in front of our customers, how are they carrying themselves? What questions are they asking? What kind of relationships are they building? What are they doing with our customers? What would my customers have to say about my salespeople? Every day, are my salespeople connecting to more and more people inside this company? Or are they dealing with the same old people? Now, I'm keeping this highly focused in highly relational industries where salespeople are driving all of the revenue and all of the profit. No one's making phone calls for them. I mean, the salespeople are driving all of this. If I'm an executive, if I'm peering into the window of my sales team, I want to know, hey, what types of questions are these people asking? How are they engaging with our customers? How are they building relationships? Are they having business conversations? Or are they having surface level conversations? When they see our customers, what are they doing? Are they inspiring them? Are they sucking the life out of them? And they're simple questions to ask, but simple's the hardest thing to do with consistency and discipline, even at an executive level, is just ask yourself a couple just simple questions, and maybe be an invisible fly on the wall on some of your salespeople's calls and just go, how are they interacting with people? What are they talking about? How are they carrying themselves? Are they paying attention? Are they shining the light on themselves? Are they shining the light on our clients? Just by asking some of these questions, you're going to open up Pandora's box of opportunities.
Yeah. Spoken like a true coach. Like asking great questions and uncovering some things that you can really support your people and helping them grow. Obviously, when you help your sales team grow, you're going to help your business grow. That's the way that it works with sales.
Yeah, amen on that, and twice on Sunday.
All right, Larry, we love a good recommendation, whether it's a tool that you're using, a book that you just read that was inspiring, something that you're really enjoying right now. Do you have any, or a podcast that you love?
Actually, it's a podcast I love. And by the way, I'm not dropping mine. I absolutely love the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast. It's my go-to. It just so happens his message resonates with me. He inspires me. He impacts me. He influences me. And I've never met this person before. So on my bucket list to meet.
You should have him on your podcast.
Oh, man, I'm trying. I've circled. I've had people who know him directly on my podcast. And I'm batting zero, but it just means that it's just around the corner. But if there's one podcast to listen to, that he's just a man fueled with high integrity, full of character and heart. Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast is my go-to.
All right, good. And what is one of your creative pursuits? What is a creative dream that you have?
Oh, wow. Hey, you know what? Somehow I knew that you're going to go down this road, Kate, and you're going to throw me on the spot. I knew that.
I have to know because it's, you have this business, you're super passionate about sales, but is there something that you do that is just do you do it for the joy of it? Just your fun little activity?
I would say the thing that I do for fun that I just get complete joy from is I love mentoring other people and I love helping people become better, especially those young in sales. If there's anything that I will geek out on that I will never say no to is helping somebody early on in their career. Just because it didn't happen for me. It didn't happen, right? There's no mentor stepped into my life. I wasn't even seeking when I saw my first business coach at 40. So 20 years ago. But now the creative side of me is going, if I can just mentor and guide and coach and nurture young up and coming salespeople and help them see and achieve things that I didn't see at that time of life, to me, that brings me joy.
I love it. All right. Well, Larry, you're in your fourth quarter. I know you kind of shared a little bit, but we want to leave on a little bit of advice for someone heading into their fourth quarter. What wisdom do you want to share?
I would say this. We're all capable of doing a whole heck of a lot more than we think we're capable of. It's the self-limiting beliefs and it's the self-doubt that keeps us squashed. It keeps us on that comfy couch. So I'm kind of in that fourth quarter of career and life. I know there's more. I'm still unpacking it. I'm 60 years old. I'm still unpacking it. So I'd say this is, I think we're all capable of doing a whole heck of a lot more. We just got to look inside of who we are and go, you know what? I challenged myself. I challenge you all. We can become better. We just have to find somebody who's close to us that we can confide in that might be able to pull it out of us.
Love it. All right. This is another reason why coaching is so important. When you have a good coach, they are your encourager. They are your cheerleader. They hold you accountable. They make sure that you're not making excuses and you stay disciplined to achieve your dreams. Larry, this was such a pleasure. You're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, I so appreciate you. And where's the best place for people to find you?
You can go to sellingfromtheheart.net. You can find out everything and then some about what we're up to. You can find the podcasts on all your podcast platforms. You go to YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
Larry is everywhere. And you and Daryl, thank you again for having me on Culture from the Heart. That was a fun podcast. And you're doing really wonderful work. So if anyone's listening and you want to check out Larry, of course, you can connect with him on LinkedIn and get his book, get a copy of Selling from the Heart, because we all need more authentic relationships, especially in selling. So thank you for the work that you do to help more people to grow their businesses, right? Like if you have a business, you believe in your product. We hope you believe in your product. And so to create those relationships and help people share that in an authentic way is important. So you are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening and for being here. We so appreciate you. And until next time, lead with culture.